The cafeteria at KIMPTON almost toppled this apple cart of harmonic self-actualization, however. French fries had long been a love-hate thing among students, since the elementary school offerings were usually thick, frozen crinkle-cut fries, barely put through the deep frying process. At KIMPTON, however, the cafeteria began to serve thinner, shoestring French fries, which came ever so close to duplicating the mythical McDonald's fries. The lunch ladies originally served these fries in huge cups, easily double the size of anything served elsewhere. A ritual for eating these fries soon formed. First, the cup would be overturned onto the serving tray. Salt would be added, accompanied by several small paper cups filled with ketchup. This mountain of potatoy goodness would be consumed quickly, lest the small problem of congealing oil spoil the process. That's how it worked for a few weeks anyway. As if straight out of a low-budget prison film, however, the polar opposite of self-actualization crept in. The fries became so popular so fast that others who missed out on them the first time would resort to stealing. Swiping someone else's fries became so commonplace that a lot of us would hold a metal fork in one hand while eating our fries with the other. Any inmate who tried to steal our fries ran a serious risk of getting the back of his hand aerated for free. Several students did in fact get stabbed, so the school took measures to curb their criminal impulses. Without admitting any tactical error on its part, the school switched out the metal forks for plastic ones. The stabbings could still take place, but the victory was largely academic. The cafeteria also switched to smaller cups, so the former excesses were no longer a factor. Another idea borrowed from the swinging 60s was the belief that today's dabbler will become tomorrow's customer. Seventh graders were allowed to explore each and every creative or industrial art program for precisely 6 weeks at a time. This was usually enough time to decide if third-degree burns from a spot welder were more to your liking than making, and compelled to eat, cookies made with 4 tablespoons of baking soda. Students could also decide between a lack of native ability in visual art and a lack of native ability in music. During the 8th grade, enlightened students could choose 2 of these disciplines for a semester each. After learning how to sew an apron, make a wooden toaster tongue, weld coiled wire into a trivet, and make a sauce from orange juice and sugar, I opted for the music classes. One of my music instructors was also a very talented folk singer and guitarist, although local venues were few and far between. We learned the basics of music composition, from scales to notation to rhythm, but I could tell his sweater vest-laden spirit was elsewhere. Every so often, he would break out his acoustic guitar and entertain the class with a passionate rendition of Harry Chapin's ode to absent parenting, Cats in the Cradle. He seemed especially wistful during the final verse, in which the son exacts karmic revenge on the inadvertently neglectful narrator father. I can very easily imagine a major motion picture about his life. Mr. R's meaningful folk guitar with hushed, intimate vocals opus. The other music instructor had a habit of standing in the hallway between classes holding a ukulele and a kazoo. As the young Van Halen and Led Zeppelin fans filed past his classroom door, he would blissfully saw away at a vintage Rudy Vallee or Al Jolson snippet for his own entertainment. Heaven knows we weren't getting the job done. During class, he would throw out challenges to the more musically inclined. One time he asked us all to sing a note as long as we could in a single breath. I remember it came down to me and my church friend and fellow musician, Steve S. Steve and I looked at each other as the other competitors dropped out one by one. By the time it was over, Steve and I both looked like the poor opera singer tormented by Bugs Bunny inside the Hollywood Bowl. The 2 years spent in the welcoming and nurturing arms of educational visionaries like Maslow didn't exactly prepare 8th graders for the next step of the journey. All of us self-actualized little people were about to meet the anti-Maslow, a man named Skinner, in the rat maze and cheese collection known as Workman High School. But that's a story for another day.